morning, this is Mitchell and you're watching Channel 5 News. Nigeria used to be a British colony, but they gained independence in 1960. There were about 60 million inhabitants and over 250 different ethnic groups. The geography of Nigeria is mostly rolling plains with small plateaus in the south, mountains along the border in the southeast, and plains in the north. The country of Biafra is 29,848 square miles in size. The climate of Biafra is tropical with 2 seasons, dry and rainy. In 1966, a huge amount of oil was discovered in Olobiria in the Niger River Delta. It was then placed under the control of Igbo officers. Even though the Igbo owned the territory that the oil was found on, they only received a small amount of the money made. The Muslims in the north were not happy with that, and they started an uprising. They massacred Igbo Christians from the north, and others in the south fled. And now to Isaac with more on the story.
Thanks, Mitchell. In May of 1967, an Igbo declared that they were seceding from Nigeria in order to found the state Biafra. The leadership of the Muslims in the north and the Yoruba in the south refused to accept their independence, and a war began. After the Nigerian government failed with 3 attacks on Biafra, they ordered a land and sea blockade on Biafra with hopes that the Biafra people would starve to death. Hunger began, and people started to die in late 1968. In 1969, the Nigerian government forced Biafra. They ordered a land and sea blockade on Biafra with hopes that the Biafra people would starve to death. Hunger began, and people started to die in the late 1968. In 1969, the Nigerian government forces began their final attack on Biafra. They succeeded with splitting Biafra into 2 cities, and they both fell soon after the start of their attack. And now to Nathaniel Bast.
Thanks, Isaac. The leader of Biafra fled into exile on an airplane from the Ivory Coast. During the genocide, the Civil War, roughly 2 million people were killed due to starvation or disease. Majority of the people were elderly, children, and women, and did not take part in the war. After the war, the Nigerian government implemented harsh policies toward the Igbo. All their money was taken, besides a mere 20 pounds, and their cities were given to other tribes. To this day, the Igbo suffer from the same discrimination, harsh policies forced into them over a little oil. Vicious attacks and acts of violence still continue. Stay tuned for more breaking news. This is Channel 5 signing off.